After having covered both other styles, it's now time to finish off this trilogy with my favorite combat style of them all, Magic. This style offers the most versatility with severe damage output, tank setups and a nice combination of both. But this isn't a DPS guide, this is a video on how you can get to the levels to truly take advantage of this wonderful playstyle. If this video is useful, consider leaving a like and don't forget to subscribe, as we're trying to get to 10k subscribers by the end of 2025. Enough waffling, my name's Chevalric, and let's talk about it. This guide will follow the same principle as the other two combat guides I made, which you can check out on the channel and the description down below if you're interested. This means that this will not go in depth on every minute little detail, but instead goes over the basics of gear, ability bars, training methods and other tips I might have for you. Now don't worry, these methods will still get you leveled up as fast as possible. I will also be giving you two options for training where applicable. One with a Slayer requirement and one without a Slayer requirement, as Slayer creatures have an extra experience multiplier to monsters that don't have a Slayer level requirement to take them on. So I would recommend leveling up your Slayer always, especially because it's one of the more fun skills in the game, at least in my opinion, but also because it will unlock better training methods to your arsenal. Housekeeping done, let's talk about the gear you should be using. The Magic style is separated in two when it comes to gear, power armor and tank gear. My recommendation is to honestly not use tank gear until at least level 86 Magic when you unlock the Animate Dead ability. We will go over this in more detail in the spell section, don't worry. But it's simply just not worth the trade-off for damage, and with Magic having healing capabilities with spells like Bloodburst, it's just not really needed either. So I would recommend you use power armor, realistically starting at level 60 Magic with the lunar equipment set and upgrading this as you move along. Where at level 86 you can make the decision to switch over to tank gear if you really want to. Up until lunars, just use whatever is available to you, it truly doesn't matter that much. Just like armor, weapons for Magic were split as well with two-handed and dual wield, having different types of abilities, but they kind of changed that now. With Concentrated Blast and Sonic Wave being available for both styles now, simply use whichever weapon is the highest tier available to you and the cheapest. So if a tier 70 dual wield weapon set is cheaper than a two-handed tier 70 Magic set, simply use that and you will be fine. Now, unlike the other styles, Magic also has spells. In truth, they don't really matter that much. Using an air spell or a fire spell won't change your experience an hour at all, unless a monster has a weakness to a certain type, but even then it's very marginal. The only two spells that truly make a significant impact whilst training are Blood spells and Animate Dead. Both are in the Ancient Spellbook and unlocked after the completion of the Desert Treasure quest and City of Santistan quest for the Animate Dead spell. The requirements for this are currently on screen. Blood spells kind of speak for themselves. They heal you up when casting them, so they are super good for sustain with Magic, and with the introduction of abilities and their area of effect capabilities, even the single target blood spells can heal off multiple targets. Animate Dead is an even more interesting one, and that's why I mention it here, because it gains 10% of its armor value in damage reduction and 25% of your defense level as flat damage reduction. Now, that does sound like woo-ha, but in Ooga Booga terms, that means Animate Dead in combination with Magic Tank Armor makes you an absolute tank. On screen right now, you can see a bunch of useful items that can aid you in your training. The more the better, of course, but unlike other styles, things like Vampirism have a lower priority due to the healing capabilities of Magic, but are still very useful to have. Stat boosting potions to simply boost your damage, and using your cannon where possible to help you aggro as many mobs as you can, and of course, if you have Soul Split unlocked, make sure to use it. On screen right now, you can also see a few ability bars depending on your unlocks. Corruption Blast is an extremely good ability to unlock, as it increases not only your damage output, but also your area of effect capabilities, making it easier to slay multiple targets at once, thus increasing your experience rates an hour. Greater Chain is also an incredible unlock, yet extremely expensive because it's so good. Where normal chain damages multiple targets, Greater Chain makes the next ability, even if it's a single target ability, also a multi-target ability. So it's just extremely powerful, and that's why it's so expensive. Now that you got all the tools to take on this magical journey, let's start with where you should be going. But wait 1 second. If you're struggling at any of the mentioned methods, make sure to either upgrade your gear towards a higher tier or simply go back to the previous mentioned monster to get a few more levels before trying the new ones. For level 1 to 30, you want to be doing the following quest. Wait, wrong script. You actually don't really have or can do quests for early magic training. So you just want to make your way over to Birth Rope to take on trolls and make sure to use air spells there as they are weak to them. For levels 30 to 40, you want to make your way over to the wilderness, just northeast of the wilderness lodestone, to the zombies that are located there. You want to be using fire spells to take these monsters on, and they are fully aggressive, so you can easily AFK these levels, even though they won't take that long. Make sure to use a self amulet there as well for an extra 20% damage and accuracy increase. For levels 40 to 50, you want to either be killing fetid zombies just northwest of Fort 4 and 3 by the use of air spells. However, they do hit hard, so using your vampirism aura with protection prayers is highly recommended here, in combination with a self amulet for an extra 20% damage and accuracy. However, an alternative here is to spam click teleport to Camelot. This will cost you a bit of money in law runes, but it's a lot more chill to do so. For levels 50 to 70, you have 3 options. If you have a self amulet, I'd recommend you go to the Ankus in the Stronghold of Security and get level 70 in there. If you do not have level 70, I'd recommend you go visit the Ogres, just west of the Yanil Lodestone. These are weak to air spells. If you do have Slayer levels however, level 50 to be exact, I'd highly recommend going to the Bloodvelds in the Slayer Tower as they offer some amazing experience. These disgusting creatures can be eradicated by the use of fire spells, which blood spells do fall under by the way, so if you have them unlocked at this point, feel free to use them. At level 70 to pretty much 99, if you want to, don't worry, we will go over more methods. You can AFK at the Abyss, found just north of Edgevale by teleporting through the Zamorakian Mage. Standing in the location shown on screen, or at the opposite side, and by the use of blood spells, you can AFK here for really good experience and pretty much indefinitely. If you'd rather train a bit more actively, you want to train on exiled Calphites found in the Calphite King lair, which are pretty decent crimson and blue charms as well, plus okay-ish money, so definitely a good option to train, and they are weak to water spells. At 75 upwards, if you have 75 Slayer, you want to take on Gargoyles. If you don't have the level for these, remain at the previously mentioned spots, but Gargoyles are great experience, good base money, and if you use the money making guide I'll put in the cards and the description, you'll be making a lot of money during your training here as well. As of me writing this script, they are about 50 mil GP an hour, but that can change regarding on the time you watch this of course. And they are weak to water spells as well. From levels 80 to 99, you have a few options. For the Slayer enthusiast with 85 or 88 Slayer, you can either go to Abyssal Demons in the wilderness near the level 17 obelisk and AFK them there, or to the corrupted creatures in the Sophanum Slayer dungeon. Make sure to use those feathers you can buy outside to take on corrupted scorpions. If you do not have Slayer levels, you can try your luck at Water Fiends, which I can only really recommend if you use blood spells and have Animate Dead unlocked in combination with magic tank armor. Otherwise, just stay at some of the previously mentioned training methods. And that is all. I hope it was useful, and if it was, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and check out the video on screen. My name's Chevalric, and I'll see you guys in my next video.